So, I've been following the conversation about Olodo uprising, where YC was talking about Olodo uprising. And for me, one of the things that most people don't really understand is that the major thing about this Olodo uprising is the fact that it's not just about Pella. It's not just about what YC has said. It's about the entire system, okay? When I talk about the entire system, I mean, for example, let's look at the algorithm, the Facebook algorithm. That Facebook algorithm that we all know. So let's talk about the social media algorithm, all the social media algorithm. You see, the social media algorithms, there is an attack on the African community, on African society. The algorithm is an attack on African society. How do I mean? The algorithm in China is very different from the algorithm in Nigeria. What social media in China will show you is not the same thing that the social media in Nigeria will show you. It's not going to be the same thing. The social media in the US will show you something completely different. You see, so the problem is not the fact that we have an Olodo uprising. We have people like Pella, people like Carter Efe, who is saying he has first class upper, and all those kind of people in our social space dictating, taking leadership role. That is not the problem. The actual problem is the fact that we have an algorithm that promotes these people. You see, the algorithm that promotes these kinds of people. So that algorithm is the major issue that we should look at. Now, one of the first things that I always talk about when you talk about this algorithm is number one. The algorithm, for example, if you go on social media, before you see Cowbellpedia or you see InterSwitch Spark, and so most of you listen don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. So these two program is an academic competition. You're not going to see it. The moment you get on social media, the first thing the algorithm will throw at you are things like Carter Efe when he's pouring spit, or Pella when he's shouting, or some obscure, irrelevant, uninformative content. That is what the algorithm is designed to do when it comes to Africa. You see, so the algorithm in the social media space in Africa is where we should start the conversation from. Who designs the algorithm? What is the objective of the algorithm? How does the algorithm work? Can we influence the algorithm? Can the government of Nigeria, African governments, can they do something about the algorithms? Can they do something about the algorithm? You see, these are the fundamental questions that we need to ask. These are the fundamental questions that we need to ask. You see, because, give you a quick example, China, the moment if a social media platform is allowed to play in China, the Chinese government takes control of the algorithm. Let's look at the United States. The United States of America, immediately they found out that TikTok was owned by a Chinese company and is influenced by the Chinese government. They immediately sold and bought TikTok. Now TikTok is owned by an American company. You know why? Because you cannot allow a foreign country to dictate the algorithm of your social media space. You cannot allow a foreign organization, a foreign company, or a foreign society to dictate the algorithm of your society, to dictate the future of your children. So for me, I feel strongly that the problem has to start with the Facebook algorithm. The federal government of Nigeria, the Minister of Communication, and all the relevant NITDA, they all have to come together and say, okay, we need to decide what should this algorithm be, just like China did, just like the United States did, just like Russia did, just like Europe did. It's now for African leaders to come together and say, we need to decide what the algorithm should promote in our society. Because as long as we leave the algorithms that is currently in place, the algorithms that is running on Facebook, on Google, on TikTok, it will promote Pella. It will not promote any meaningful conversation. You see? So it's not by accident. It is a design. It's designed to be that way. And if we're going to change it as a society, we need to now have that conversation. Okay, if you look at this video, you see me when I was asking, when I was moderating a conference, and I was asking that same question to one of the panelists, because this is where the conversation starts from. The algorithms, the algorithm that is running on our social media platforms, that's the social media platform operating in Nigeria, in Africa, those algorithms needs to be tweaked to produce more meaningful leadership. If you don't do that, people like Pella, people like Carter Efe, people like Nurse Miraj, all these people, I have nothing against them, but people like that will continue to hold sway in our society. And all things like InterSwitch Spark, programs like Cowbellpedia and all those intellectual programs will never see the light of day. Big Brother Nigeria would always be on top of the agenda with this type of algorithm.